Hey guys, Kerry Werner from Kona Max's Shimano team coming at you at 70 miles an hour here. How fast are we going?
74.
Post Charm City CX. This is what I'm talking about. We're in the RV. This is where Beck lives. Do you mind? Instead of just sitting around all day and watching dash lines roll by, I figured I'd be a little productive here and get a race recap going. So let's go ahead and go over day one, Charm City CX, and the second round of the USCX series. Come on up here. Come over here. Starting with day one, I got my first hole shot of the year. Subsequently led out most of the first lap. Coming into the race today with 76 guys and having Bastian's, Curtis, Steven, and then Chris Blevins, our current mountain bike short track world champion in the race. I thought positioning would be pretty key. Luckily, Blevins had to come from the back, or at least a little bit further back, because he had no UCI points, so he was a random draw. Curtis unfortunately broke his chain off the start, so he was kind of out of the picture. Though I will say kudos to Curtis for not shutting it down. He charged hard by himself the whole race and was turning out faster lap times than the lead group was at times to roll in at 10th place. Nice job, Curtis. Way to stay positive. Good World Cup training, as he said. So that left the rest of us battling for the front of the race. There was a lot of us. We held a really big group at the front of the race for probably the first half. Positioning was pretty crucial, and I was really making a push to stay in the top 3 or 4 all race. Didn't figure out until later in the race that the main section to kind of put effort in was from the barriers all the way up to the Mansion Hill off camber. The rest of the course just had so much punch and choppy corners that there was a lot of really short efforts and then descending to recover from those efforts, and it was just really hard to make up any time there. It seemed like everybody could handle the really short punchy bursts this weekend. About four laps to go, Bastian's got on the front over the resource scaffolding flyover and hit the barriers, and then punched it super hard all the way up to the Mansion Hill off camber. Vandenham was first on his wheel, followed by Gage. Bastian's was pushing hard enough that he opened up a little bit of a gap. Vandenham suffered a broken spoke right before we got up to the top of the off camber. I couldn't get around Gage fast enough to try and get on Bastian's wheel. By the time I got into the front, we entered the second half of the course, which was the punchy half of the course, and it's just super tough to bring time back on that. Bastian's was rolling off the front with like 7 or 8 seconds, and the next section to put effort in was dropping off the new flyover into the finish straight, and it's a bit of a flatter effort to pit 1 where you're just dragging people around in the draft. So unfortunately, I didn't have the legs to bring it back quick enough, and Bastian's was off the front with 10 plus seconds, followed by a group of 5 or 6, and we would roll that way for the rest of the race. Steven showed his face at the front during those last 4 laps to go. Ghost of Vandermeer was also up there setting pace for a bit. I think Blevins got on the front for a little bit. All the while I was trying to bide my time and be conservative while also maintaining really good positioning. With 2 laps to go, Steven made a really hard push up to the Mansion Hill, which kind of separated things, but then it kind of came back together on the front half of the course, and we all rolled into 1 lap to go with a group of 3 or 4 riders. I think it was Steven again that took up pacemaking there in the middle of the course and put another dig in up Mansion Hill. I was sitting second wheel. I didn't come around Steven. I wanted to wait until a little bit longer in the lap, though that proved to be a bit challenging just because of how many turns there were and how tight the course was. I tried to make a pass on Steven right after pit 2, coming out of one of the punchy turns up a climb, but there wasn't enough room for it, and he took me to the tape respectively. I jumped back on his wheel, and I had one more opportunity. There was a longer straight out of a right-hand corner into a right-hand off-camber, and I think Steven could sense that I was coming for him. He shut me down on the inside, but then swung wide. And when he swung wide, I put in a couple hard pedal strokes and jumped the inside and just narrowly edged him out, pushing him into the tape at the pinch point on the exit to get the lead on the group into that final flyover with a downhill into the finish straight, which acted as like a Mario Kart speed booster. So assuming you got clipped in, it was pretty much not a sprint because the person in the front had the advantage, and I was able to hold Steven off for second place on day 1. So the top 3 was Vincent, myself, and then Steven for day 1, Charm City CX, and having some valuable C1 points and the C1 payout. So that's it for day 1. Thanks for watching, guys. Check in for day 2. Probably going to do the next video once we get to where we're going, because this is kind of making me car sick. Not sure though. He's just catching up on rest. See you guys next time.